Hello and welcome to Karma Cruising. I'm Scott.
I'm Helen.
And sitting on the back there is Cocker Spaniel Flash in his element. So it's Bank Holiday Sunday. We were going to have the whole Bank Holiday at home this week. The last one in April, this one is. We were going to have it at home and do a load of odds and sods, DIY, get the garden sorted and things like that. We did a lot yesterday, but the weather's not really brilliant today, so we decided actually we'll just come along and take Karma for a chug and have a quick night somewhere. We're currently heading from Furness, Vale towards Whaley Bridge, where we're going to use the facilities there just to top up with a bit of water. We have used the boat since before last winter, or back end of last year. We used her a couple of weekends ago. We came just to check everything was alright. We didn't bring the camera with us. We just came along and been a bit selfish and thought, no, we'll just have one weekend for us without doing any vlogging or anything. So she was absolutely fine after the winter. We filled her up with water. You know, we drained her down before winter for any, you know, protection against frost and things. Everything worked hunky-dory. The engine started and worked no problem. Yeah, so want to tell them about the new cover, Hel?
Yeah, we've had a new canopy fitted. So the old one was a bit worn, a bit patchy in places when we bought it. So we've invested in this new canopy, which we had fitted the back end of last year. And it was fitted by, they call Wilsons of Kinver.
Yeah, really nice guy to deal with.
Yeah. So you can see, we went for like a silvery grey colour, and we've got all the panels.
So one thing he did for us as well, because I mentioned that obviously our canopy, we on the old one, we fathomed out to work the rails so that we could get under all of the bridges along the Big Forest and the Macclesfield Canal. Just if the weather's against us, we didn't really want to be going along with the canopy down, because obviously everywhere gets wet. So he came up with this idea of making these straps for us for like a day today where you don't know if it's going to start raining or not. We literally, as we come to a bridge, I just have to drop this one bar down and that is it. We can literally go along every bridge and we know that we're not going to have any problems with catching anything or tearing anything on the canopy. So it works really well. And he did that as a gesture for us just after I'd spent it. So if anybody is wondering how to do it,
the straps are here, attached here, and it holds the bars in place. A lower down position, so they keep them in position there, in the lower position. So
like now, I think I could go through this one with the bar still up at the front because it's quite a tall bridge, but we just literally drop it down. I can still see out the front window and I can still see out the side of the boat, no problem, so it doesn't affect my vision. So then we don't hit the side of the canal, or should I say, hopefully don't hit the side of the canal on this bridge. The only thing you have to be wary about when you've got the canopy up, what I've noticed is if it's windy, it doesn't even really need to be a strong wind, but if it's windy, be careful because the back of the boat will blow a bit more because obviously the canopy is higher in the air. So yeah, it does just blow over, so sometimes it's worth just leaving the doors up so you can have a look. But the good thing is if it does start chucking it down, we can literally just lock ourselves in. We're all nice and dry and we know we're safe and not going to damage anything on the canopy, so it works really well. It was really reasonable priced as well. We had a few quotes. We had to wait for him to be in the area because he's very busy. I think it all in all from ringing him to getting it fitted took about 4 months. But that was obviously when we rang him, he said straight away, I'm busy, I won't be able to do it, I'll come and template it for a while. But he did, he's true to his word, and it came up, he templated it, and then about 3 weeks later it was fitted. So, like I say, we're just heading towards Whaley Bridge, just because we haven't been down this end of the canal for a while, not since we really bought Karma. But we're probably going to turn around in a bit as well. We're going to use the facilities to get water. We could have got water at Furness Vale Marina where we moored, but we just decided we'll have a come down this end of the canal and then we'll probably turn around and head towards somewhere like Disley because we're going to be lazy tonight and have a Chinese takeaway, I think.
Nesting.
What's TJ say? Chinese for TJ. Hasn't been on the board for ages, and then the first thing he does, jump straight out on the bed, electronics out of his hands. Quite busy on the tour path today. So we're just coming up to the junction for Bugsworth Basin on Whaley Bridge. There's a big Tesco here and places to moor. A lot of it is private mooring, seasonal mooring along here from the Canal. But the usual places you can pop in, so if you need to go and do a shop. Also there's a petrol station here. So for GRPs, it's good because you can go and take a jerry can and you can get filled at the petrol station down there as well, which is the only really good place you can do it. On the big forest canal, there's no other real petrol stations along the way. There is some you can walk to, but this one's really handy if you need to get fuel, if you're planning on a trip coming up towards Bugsworth or Whaley Bridge. It does get very narrow as you're going into Bugsworth as well. For us, we have to lift the fenders, otherwise you'd get stuck. It's just like going into a lock really. It just narrows, a bit like what it's like when you come off the Macclesfield onto the Forest Canal. That goes very narrow, so you have to lift the fenders up. But like I say, all these along here, these are leisure rooms, but if you go a little bit further up, there is some 14-day mooring, I think. Or is it 2 days?
2 days, I think.
Sorry if the volume of my voice keeps going down, it's because Helen keeps taking the camera outside the boat. Yeah, very busy on the tour path today, lots of people walking about, taking dogs. But there's the big Tesco there, you can see, big car park. It is a very big, well I'd say it's not a superstore, but it's a big Tesco, so you can get all your groceries in there and everything you need. At Whaley Bridge there's lots of little shops as well, there's bakeries, there's fish and chip shop. Everything you find in a little town really. But it's quite a nice place. Just be mindful if you're planning on mooring up here for the night, that you do have the road noise next to you, so that's the main road into Whaley. We've never actually stopped here, but a few people have said it can be, you know, it can be quite noisy. But it's like anything on the canal, you know, you always got a road or a railway line or something normally, so it doesn't bother me. Once I've had a couple of beers, I'll sleep anywhere. But we're just going to go and fill up at the service point. There's actually a service point with bins, Elson and water, both at Whaley Bridge and at Bugsworth Basin is the same. I think there's a toilet.
Yeah, toilet at Bugsworth.
At Bugsworth. Yeah. I don't think there's a toilet here, I think it's just the services. We normally just fill up at the Furness Vale Marina, but we thought we're in no rush today, so we'd have a jug along here, see this part of the canal again and just get some water down here. This bridge we definitely need to drop it down, this does go low. He must be going to Tesco.
You can see the sign there, leisure moorings.
What's that device on the top of Henry? Is that some sort of wind turbine, is it? I've never seen anything like that before. Yeah, it looks like it's a wind turbine.
Having fun, Flash?
So here we are at Whaley Bridge. This is the turnaround point. Comes to a dead end here, and you've got the main road, like I said there, trafficking in. Just where you see the end of that narrowboat, there's about enough room for 3 to 4 narrowboats along there, depending on the size. We're at the water point now, as you can see, which is this goal post here. And also there is a toilet here. I made a mistake, I said there wasn't. There is a toilet here. There's bins there as well, just to the right of that white van. And there's an Elson point as well. But we only need a bit of water, which is what we're doing today. So I just thought I'd show you what I've done. Oh, she's waving at you there, Helen. Just thought I'd show you what I've done with my hose pipe. So I just bought a windy up hose pipe just for ease of use. And they come with brackets that you would stick on your wall at home. So I thought, well, why don't we just stick it on the boat there? So that's what I've done, which means now I can wheel it out to the hose pipe there. I can wheel it back in with ease, and it's somewhere to actually store the hose pipe, so it's not actually using any space up inside. It works really well. So all I've done is the bit that normally would go into your tap at home, and then you'd wheel off and have this big long end at the end of the hose pipe. You'd normally have that with obviously your connector on that you're going to water the garden or wash the car with. I've just turned it round, so basically the bit that would normally go to your tap, that's what we put into our little filler hole, like Helen's showing you now. And obviously we then got the full use of the hose pipe wherever we have to moor if we can't get right next to the point as well. It's all pretty good. So yeah, and like I say, this is Whaley Bridge. It's a nice little town. This is where it nearly got wiped out with a few years back with Toddbrook, when the reservoir nearly went, when the wall of the dam nearly went. This would have flooded the whole of this area, and for quite a bit away, to be honest with you. Hence why that water is flowing there, because the reservoir, which keeps the canal topped up, is still being repaired, so it's not in use at the minute. So what they're doing is they're having to pump water constantly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week out of the river to keep the canals topped up as well. So there's a little bit. If you want to have a Google and put in Toddbrook Reservoir, you'll see what happened when they had to try and stop it, and they're using all sorts of massive sandbags. They had the army here, there's Chinooks here, helicopters, yeah, so we must be full. When our tank fills up, there's an overflow on it which goes into our bilge, and then obviously the bilge pumps out the side there. There you go, that's the Pride of the Peak. They'll be going out for their journey up the Peak Forest Canal. It's quite full on board. People having drinks and cream teas. Anyway, this is Whaley Bridge.